let's go into it.
Okay, first guys, we're going to mobilize through our joints. We're going to start with our wrists. I want you to rotate them round and round. Now we're going to start with our shoulders, working into bigger movements. So start with shoulder rolls, start to bring the elbows into that movement, and then the arms all the way around, going forwards as far as you can back. And let's take it back, doing the same thing. So going back to that shoulder roll, nice and slow, nice and small. Start to add in those elbows, making bigger movements through our shoulder joint and our elbows, moving our arms all the way back around, mobilizing through our shoulder joint. Now we're going to go into a torso twist, so just moving side to side, mobilizing through our core and starting to move into our knees and our hips. I'm going to try not to talk too much throughout the workout, just to give you an idea of what we're doing, so you don't have to listen to my voice the whole entire time. We're going to do some hip openers here, so we're just taking the hip out and around, opening up through that joint, keeping our balance, making sure that knee is soft, the one that's the foot's on the floor. And going to the other side. You might find that one side is harder to get the leg around than the other. You might be a bit tighter in one side, that's totally fine. Keeping that core nice and tight, that back nice and straight. Alright, I want you to put your hands on your knees. We're going to roll around through the knee joints, mobilizing, getting them ready to start moving around, back the other way. I know it might seem a little bit funny, but it's all for good reasons. We're going to roll through our ankles, going one way and then the other way. Going to the other foot, rotating one way, turning it back the other. And now we're going to go into a little bit more of some movement. So we're going to go into a squat, taking the feet just outside the hips, feet forward, facing forwards, knees come forwards and not go over the toes, sitting that bottom right back into a squat. Hands on your hips, keep your chest up and your core braced. Pushing with the heel of the foot, squeezing the glutes on the way up. Now I want you to increase this squat by touching the floor each time you go down, getting that squat a little bit deeper, keeping that chest up always, and those knees nice and soft. Let's reach up this time. We're going to start to bring that heart rate up slowly, so touching the floor, reaching to the sky, squeezing those glutes on the way up, keeping that core nice and tight. Next exercise, taking the feet a little bit wider, and we're going to do a side lunge. So making sure the toes are going in the same direction as your knees, or pointing the same direction as your knees, I should say. Let's add an arm. Let's stretch up and over. Trying to keep that chest nice and tall. This is going to be a great way for me to critique my own technique. Swapping to the other side, starting off with just the leg movements, getting used to it, getting deeper into that leg, making sure the knees are going the same direction as the toes. Adding the arm up and over, reaching nice and far. Bringing the feet back in together. We're going to do a walkout. So bending at the hips, walking the hands out into a plank, and then walk the hands back in and come to a stand. We're going to do this a few times. We're just mobilizing through our whole body, getting our upper body warmed up through our shoulders, our whole posterior chain. We will be doing some planks today, so get excited for that. Last one. All right, we're going to do some movements to get our heart rate up now. So just bouncing side to side, a little bit of a side bounce, if you want to call it that. I want you to do a double bounce now, side to side. This is your option. If you would rather not do the bounce, you can step it out instead. Double bouncing, using those arms, keeping that chest up, light on those toes. New move coming up, we're going to go into some star jumps. So when we're doing our star jumps, I want you to think about having your feet touching the floor. As you can see, my heels are touching the ground. It's almost like a little squat, reaching those arms up as tall as you can. Here is your low option, so you can tap side to side, reaching that hand up. This will still help to get your heart rate up because you are elevating your limbs above your heart, which will then increase your heart rate because it has to work harder to get the blood up the top of those arms. It's now time to start our workout. So 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We're going to do a run. So it's a 3 steps, touch the floor, and then run back. So we're saying to get that heart rate up even more. This is our first exercise of 8. And you have 50 seconds of this. Good job. If you need a lower option, you can step it out. Please make sure that you try and touch the ground though. As you can see right here, walking back, touching. Keep going. That's it, almost there. 10 seconds rest. We're going to be going into some squats. So I want you to take your feet just outside the hips and squat it down nice and low. So hopefully your hips or your bottom and your hips are getting as deep as your knees. As you can see here, I could probably have gone a little bit deeper, but I want you guys to go deeper. Work nice and hard. If you would like to make this exercise harder, you may do a squat jump, which I will show in just a second. Here we go, lifting up and making sure that your heel touches the floor when you're squatting back down. As many as you can in a row, and if you need to, go back to the squat without the jump. So again, with your squat, making sure your knees are not going over your toes, sitting that bottom nice far back, and 10 seconds rest. We're getting on the floor for a push-up. I want you to take your hands nice and wide, bringing your chest down in line with your elbows. Keeping that core nice and tight. I'm going to show you a side view. Here is your option 1. So your knees are underneath your hips, bringing your chest down nice and low in line with your elbows, making sure you've got a nice flat back and your head is in line with your spine. Your next option is to drop your knees back further, keeping your feet on the floor for stability. And third option is on your toes. Watch me struggle. Remember, this isn't just about me doing exercise for you. This is me also getting fit and working on my mental health as well. Keep going. You're almost there. Stopping, 10-second rest. We're getting up into our next exercise, which is a side lunge or a curtsy lunge. So we're going to curtsy behind, jumping if you can. I will show you a lower option in just a second. So taking it nice and wide, getting that knee right down low, working into these lower legs. Here we go. Here is our low option, so you can step it out. Making sure our hips are facing forwards. They're not turning with our leg. Chest is up, back is nice and straight. Back into jumping. Light on those toes, making sure the front foot, the heel is on the floor. Using those arms to help propel yourself side to side. We're coming down into a plank now, so I want you to have your shoulders over your elbows, keeping your head and neck in line with the spine as much as you can, and holding it either on your knees or on your toes. To make it easier on your toes, you can take your feet wider. This will help with stability. Here is a side view. Holding our plank, you should really be feeling it in your core muscles. Obviously, we all look different when we're doing planks because of our bodies being different. Keeping that bottom nice and in line. As you can see, I have a big one, so keeping it in line is a little bit tricky. Shoulders are over those elbows, holding on, looking forwards in front of you to keep your neck in line with your spine. Almost there. Well done, that's your 10-second signal. We are going to now go into some tricep dips. So I want you to sit on your bottom, keeping your back and your head all in line and having your hands facing your bottom, elbows going directly back. You should be pushing through the palm of your hand and you should really feel it in the upper part of the back of the arm. See how my back is nice and straight. There is a higher option, which I'm about to demonstrate, lifting the bottom off the floor. Trying to keep that bottom up, and all of the movement is coming from that elbow. Pushing through the heel of the foot also to help. Continually correcting yourself, making sure that bottom is not sagging down too far. That's your 10-second rest time here. Shake it out, standing up. We're going to go into some star jumps, which we did in our quick warm-up. So taking those hands nice and wide, we are taking our legs out into a squat, making sure our heels are touching the floor. This takes the impact out of our knee joint, which is very important. As many as you can. I will demonstrate the lower option in just a second. Tapping side to side, reaching tall. Remembering what we're trying to do here is keep that heart rate up because then we'll burn more calories. As many as you can. Keep going. 50 seconds might feel like a lot right now, but it will not take very long, I promise. Standing nice and tall. Almost there. And stop. Coming down onto the floor, you have 10 seconds. We're going to do our crunches. So I want your feet shoulder width apart, laying on your back, hands nice and wide, hands to the temples, crunching up through that upper body. So your shoulder blades are coming off the floor, breathing out on the way up and in on the way down. Looking further in front, above you, so that you're keeping your chin away from your chest. Keep going. This is the last exercise that you're going to do, and we're going to repeat the whole lot all over again. Doing so well. Remembering to keep those elbows nice and wide. Focus on your breathing. Almost done. There we go. Well done, guys. You've got a minute break here, so grab a drink if you need it. One round done. So that wasn't too hard. Hopefully you feel confident enough to do it all over again. If you didn't have a go at those higher options, give them a go and then drop back to the the other option that we have. I want you to work really hard, have some fun. You don't even need to listen to my voice now that you've seen it happen. Put some music on, mute me so you don't have to listen to me, and prepare for round 2. All right, round 2, guys. Getting ready. We've got our little run forwards and back with a tap with our hand. Let's go. So running forwards, tapping to the floor, running back. So I want you to touch your fingers to the floor if you can. Remember, if you need to, you can step this out. Trying to keep nice and low in the legs. Remember, this is the final time you're going to do any of them. This is the lower option if you need it to step it out. Touch the floor. I don't care which option you choose as long as you're moving. Moving is the most important thing. Almost there. And stop. You have 10 seconds now setting up for a squat, so I want those feet just outside the hips. When we're thinking about our squat, we want our chest up, our abs braced, squatting down as far as we can, making sure our bottom is going nice and low, hopefully down to the knees. These squats look a little bit better than my first round. Making sure your knees are going in the same direction as your toes are pointing, and they're not going over the toes. So you're sitting back from the hips. Do what you need to do with your hands to make yourself feel comfortable. Remember, you can be doing that squat jump. Just because I'm doing the lower option doesn't mean you guys need to be doing it. I want you to work hard. Making sure the heels are touching the floor each time you come down. Light on those toes on the way up. Breathe, you've got this. If I can do it, you guys can do it. Stop, 10 seconds. We're going to come down in our push-up. So I want you to have your hands nice and wide. Remember your 3 different options. Under the hips, feet further back, and then on your toes. Bringing that chest down in line with the elbows. You don't need to make sure your chest touches the floor. As long as you're getting to the elbows, then that's what we're looking for to make that muscle work hard. I want you to push through the palm of your hand. Here is your side view, so knees underneath the hips. Level 1. Level 2, taking the knees back slightly to increase that pain factor. And then finally, your other option is on your toes. If you need to, you can take your feet wider on the toes. I'm not going onto toes this round. I was very sore at this point. Bringing that chest down and rest. You have 10 seconds here. We're going to get back up again. We have our curtsy lunges, side to side. So either step it out to begin with, get used to the movement as I'm doing here, then pick up that speed, keeping nice and low throughout the whole movement because we really want those legs to be working. Making sure the hips are forwards, our core is on, and our chest is lifted. Nice and light on those toes, but making sure that our whole foot touches the floor. Keep going. Great job, guys. You're doing really well. We're halfway through round 2. You've only got a few more minutes to go. Keep pushing, don't stop moving. And stop. 10 seconds. We're going to come down into our plank. So you have the 2 options, walking the hands out, making sure that the shoulders are over those elbows, and hold it in a plank with your knees back and your feet on the floor. Looking forwards to keep your neck in line with your back. To increase this, going up onto your toes. If you want to make it harder, feet close together. Make it a little bit easier, take the feet a little bit wider. Just pushing forwards with that upper body to make sure that your elbows are, or your shoulders are over your elbows. If you really push forwards, you will feel your core start to work really hard. And that's what we're trying to do here. Keep going, almost done. And done. 10 seconds rest. Turning it over, so we're going to do our tricep dips now. So your option is to have your bottom in the air or to have your bottom seated on the floor, hands facing your bottom, pushing with the palm of the hand as you push up, so that we're really working into the back of the arms. Elbows go directly back. They're not coming out to the side like chicken wings. We want them nice and back straight. If you want to, remember you have the option of lifting your bottom off the floor, pushing through the heels of the foot and the palm of the hand. Taking the feet even further away will make it even harder again. Choose your option, just keep moving, have a go, and just don't stop. I know I'm not the fittest person, but I'm here to help you guys and get fit myself. And it is time for your 10-second rest. Up we come. We have 2 more exercises to go, guys. 2 more minutes and we're done. Star jumps, take it out. Heels touching the floor, knees pointing outwards. It's almost like a little squat. Arms up nice and tall. This is it. This is the final bit of hard work. You've done so well today. Remember, your lower option is to step it out. I want you to do it nice and fast. Keep those arms up so that our heart rate is working hard to get that blood up above our head. Keep going, keep going. You're almost there. Keep going, keep going. You've only got 1 more exercise to go. And rest. You have 10 seconds to sit up for your crunch. So this is your final exercise. Make it count, working those core muscles. Hands to your temples, elbows nice and wide. Feet are just outside the hips, bringing those shoulder blades off of the floor. Breathing out on the way up and in on the way down. Out on the way up, in on the way down. Really focus on that breathing, contracting through those core muscles. Keep going, guys. You're almost done. This is it. Super happy, super proud of you. Keep going. Remembering to keep those elbows nice and wide. We're almost done, almost done. Keep going, keep going. And stop. Well done, guys. You've made it through. We're going to have a quick stretch here. So just have a moment on the floor. Relax. And when you're ready, coming to a stand. And we'll stretch all those major muscle groups that we worked really hard. Bring your left leg in front and sit it back so that knee is nice and straight. To increase this stretch along the back of the leg, I want you to lift your toes up towards the ceiling, and you can either hold onto your hand or you don't have to. Either option is fine. So we're stretching through our calf muscle here and starting to get into that hamstring. From here, I want you to take a bigger step back, heel on the floor, both heels on the floor, leaning forward. So we're stretching through our hamstring now. Bringing your right arm across the body, holding onto your arm in between your hand and your elbow, not holding onto those joints, stretching through our shoulders. Bringing that hand up, back and around, stretching to that tricep muscle that we did all those tricep dips for. Bringing the left foot up into the left hand, knees together, hips together, stretching through our big muscle, our big quad muscle at the front of our body, using your other hand to balance however you need. To increase the stretch, push the foot into the hand away from the bottom and release this down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Right foot forwards, sitting it back. That knee is nice and locked out, stretching through our calf muscle, holding onto the toes to increase that stretch. Coming to a stand, taking that back leg further back and sitting it forwards, stretching through the hamstring on the back leg. Bringing the arm across the body, holding between our joints and slightly pushing back onto our hand to increase that stretch through our shoulder, dropping it up, back and behind for our triceps. Releasing that, stepping it in, bringing the right foot up into a quad stretch, knees together, hips together, doing whatever you need to do to balance, pushing the foot into the hand away from the body to increase that stretch. We're going to bring that foot up and around just above our knee joint to stretch through our glutes, through our bottom. So sit it back down, holding it there. You should feel a stretch through the glute. Release this, swapping to the other side, so making sure that the ankle is just above the knee joint. Sit it down. Again, do whatever you've got to do to balance. Releasing that stretch. I want you to join your hands together in front of your chest and pushing forward, stretching through our back, our upper back. And then taking those hands behind, joining them together at our back and pushing backwards, opening up through our chest muscles. When you're ready, releasing that, roll through the shoulders. Good job, guys. You did so well. Forwards and back. Have a bit of a twist through that neck. Relax. Have a jiggle. Have a twist. I want you to bring one hand in front, bring the other hand in front, join them together and give yourselves a clap. Well done, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on my workout today. Please drink lots of water when you finish, and I'll see you for the next workout. Bye, guys.